Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut!
Let's go, bub. Rookie.
Yes, I will do that every single time.
All right, there we go. And we are live and back once again. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so, you know what?
It looks like he blew up in that image.
Yes. That's actually his typical background. Except you guys don't have, like, green screen or something, so you can't see it. So, and you've got, like, this underwater pyramid thing with, like, this explosion thing going across, so... Anyways, does somebody want to give us a recap? And yes, unfortunately, Dale's not here. He is doing dad stuff. So Hyperion has let me know that if action happens tonight, he will be he'll be staying at home washing his tights. No, he's going to be dealing with any issues that might be arising at Quantum Unlimited.
Okay, so my notes. What we did last time was Mr. Shield, Joe Higgins, brought the new recruits from the school that I can't remember the name of. He brought them to Strongford, where they have had a tour of Quantum Unlimited and had their powers tested. I don't know if we want to go into the kids' team.
Don't need to.
It's mostly just hanging out with them. And then there was some conversation with Mr. Higgins about strategy. He suggested if we want info on getting in or out of Senia, we should talk to Donovan McLaren. We also decided we could contact the ambassador that we helped in Argentina and also a senator to see if either of them can get info on U.S. dealings with Senia. And then Carmen got some fan mail, which she enlisted her sister to get them to the vein. And then that led to some curiosity about Electrum and his fan mail. And we found out from Mainframe that there are 2 locations where he has kept fan mail, apparently totaling 10 tons. There's one in New York City and one in Strongford. And then we were going to go check out the one in Strongford, but then decided maybe we'd wait until the rest of us could come as well. And my last note says, we should hire a publicist to handle stuff like this.
Good recap. That's actually not inaccurate.
Yay.
And the name of the school, I was actually trying to get that pulled up. Haven Institute.
New Haven Institute?
Haven.
Just Haven.
Yes, just Haven. Not new, just Haven.
Oh, I'm wearing my, by the way, if anyone can't see, I'm wearing my
Green Lantern
shirt today.
Lantern. I'm just wearing a pink shirt. But I do have this lovely shirt.
Yes. which will be on display this coming weekend for anybody who happens to go to
Display on my person.
Phoenix Fan Fusion. We have two. We actually have 2 panels that we're going to be doing, and of course, wandering the convention floor and doing other stuff. So, if you happen to be there, be sure to swing by and say hi. I need to grab one more thing. Uno Momento 4 flavors. At this point, it is the next day, and you are at the inspection is actually happening. Hyperion is currently taking care of that right now at Quantum Unlimited. So the rest of you could be there if you so chose, or you have obviously the opportunity to go take care of other matters while he is seeing to the inspection.
Well, what we had discussed was, at least on my part, I ought to be that it would be suspicious if I made myself scarce. So I at least ought to be available in case they have questions. But with Dale not here, I don't know. Maybe the dynamic has shifted.
I will let all of you decide that as far as gameplay is concerned. There's clearly some other things that you guys could be doing if you so chose. Otherwise, you could, like I said, you could be there for the inspection too.
I think Joan would be there.
You don't think she would be there?
Not her thing.
I was going to say, in the event that they did need to talk to us, we could get over there fairly quickly. So
there is that.
Yeah.
Freddie is going to do his morning routine that he does every single day. That way it doesn't draw extra attention to it.
Which is what?
He's going to start by working on his power stunt because that's what he happens to be working on.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Power stunt time.
Ooh.
I need a sheet.
Sounds like somebody crushed a roll.
A 94.
A red result on working on my power stunt.
Nice. So that's one step closer to the edge, and he's about to break.
Yep.
I've got 2 more, and then I've mastered it. So
Okay, awesome, awesome.
Okay,
and
I
then
need one more.
I thought we had to have 7 total.
I'm never
You
going to
do.
get there.
1 red, 3 yellow, 3 green.
Okay, so yeah. He'll take a shower. He's going to put on his clothes, and then he's going to scamper off to work.
Okay.
Scamper.
Shown is clearly working on her power stunts, and no joy from the sound of things.
And he's going to bring in donuts for his team.
Donuts in where? At the vein? Or the
Like
office?
The office.
To the office.
Okay. Sounds good.
He doesn't do it often, but this is a special occasion.
Yes. UN inspection.
So high-quality donuts will help ease the tensions.
Gotcha. Brittany, I curse you right now. I'm already
You know what?
I'm already hungry, and you post pictures of what it is that you just got.
Yeah, that's good.
Sorry, not sorry.
I was eating smoked oysters.
Ugh. You can keep them.
See, I feel the same way
I was
about
just helping.
olives.
I was helping your appetite.
Yeah, but it definitely helped. It caved a little.
I have needed 1 green roll to get this power stunt solidified for like the last 6 games.
And still no
No.
joy. Wow. Oh. Okay.
True Brittany fashion.
You need a reroll.
Oh yeah, can I use my reroll from my power stunt?
Use a reroll. I don't have any rerolls.
If you want to burn a reroll for a power stunt, I mean you can. It's a roll.
Nah. Okay. I have yet to use mine.
Okay, Brittany.
I'm saving 'em.
Justin just gave you a reroll.
Okay. I might as well.
I've still got one sitting in the cut for myself, but green. Woohoo!
Okay. Yay.
Finally,
Thank
Brittany
you.
has scored a green result.
Okay. So
And that's
that
your
was my
that's your illusion for audio.
illusion casting with audio.
Okay.
Um, sweet. Okay. Now I can concentrate on that thing that Grandpa was teaching me.
Uh-oh.
Did it have anything to do with Werther's original? Because that's what Grandpa's teaching.
Only if that is a euphemism for conquering the world.
1 minute.
Justin's done.
He's like,
That's
Lightbringer.
why he actually ran away. He's gonna, have some curse words for Grandpa.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
So, we know what Angler is doing at this point, and has already left the vein to head to the office. What are the three of you doing?
Probably reading my fan mail.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean will help her read fan mail.
Okay. Derek.
Well, I guess I would probably be at the office, considering that my department is probably getting audited as well.
Okay. So then you would head in with the Angler. Alrighty. So those of you at the vein, going through the fan mail. I mean, it's pretty typical fanfare. It ranges anywhere from "you're so cool" to "I look up to you because you're a girl," to weird things like
I want you to marry me.
Can you make shapes with your energy? Several requests for marriage, or just boyfriend, sort of thing.
Yeah, Sean will be putting those in a nice little pile for prospects.
Excellent. Do they include pictures?
No.
The question is, would she want pictures? To be honest,
I mean, at least like a little, snapshot profile picture.
Yeah, you gotta know. You have to have at least some semblance of.
I mean, there may have these letters have been screened, so it's possible there were inappropriate pictures that were removed by the science police.
That's the 12th Amber Alert I've gotten in the last 24 hours.
Oh my!
They just be kidnapping kids in San Antonio this weekend.
Any major sporting events?
I think it has more to do with the weekend.
But as you're going through the fan mail, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of that. None of the letters here have any sort of like hateful language of any nature, or anything like that. If they got that sent in, it would have been tossed. The bulk of it, of course, comes from New Prussia. The rest of it comes from like the United States or Argentina.
Wow. Is it like written in Spanish?
Yes.
Cool. Very cool.
So neither one of you speak Spanish.
No, maybe I'd try and read it to mainframe and he can translate.
Oh, that'll go over well. I think this word is donde. But yeah, so I mean that's pretty much what you're going through at this point. There is a news alert that pops up on TV talking about cleanup efforts that are going on downtown around the Shadestone building, and how they've got the Business Plaza cornered off specifically for repair work on the office building, and of course, repairing any other buildings in the area from the explosion. They've got measures of how much they anticipate the cost is going to be, so on and so forth.
So, any news about bodies being identified?
No, nothing like that.
So, do you think Pumpkinhead's in there?
I don't know.
Or do you think he got out before it actually exploded?
Dr. October.
Wish we had found out sooner.
Yeah. He was entertaining.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of what's happening is more complicated than just good and evil.
Yeah. That's pretty much the world I came from. It's all in perspective on which god's really evil and which ones are really good.
What do you think about all this Senia stuff?
That's what I think about it.
I found a toy of my son's, and it evidently has a button that makes it bark. So who
Great
knew?
timing.
Yeah. I was like, what is this? Oh,
I really don't know. I mean, I feel like they need to be shut down because we know that they kidnapped people like us. And we know they're forcing them, you know. I wouldn't mind knowing what's going on there and why they wanted Hyperion's creator.
Yeah, I'd really like to know what she's thinking, what she's been thinking.
I mean, I'm hoping that this is against her will and that we're actually going in to do a rescue instead of an arrest. At least for Hyperion and Wombat's
Yeah,
sake.
I agree.
Do you ever wonder what he actually thinks about? I mean, because he's not really human.
Hyperion?
Yeah,
You mean like how does his brain work?
yeah.
Sometimes. But also, I mean, just scientifically, it's really a fascinating exercise. But then I realize I'm talking about a real person that I care about who is as much alive as
I forget
needed
a
to.
lot of times that he's an android. He sometimes is more human than you guys.
Yeah, so I kind of stop myself from thinking about it in too detached a way, just out of respect of who he is and who he is to us.
So how long have you known like Freddie?
I met him the same day I met the other guys. Um, only a few months before we picked you up.
Yeah, I definitely was not expecting you guys. I was only expecting to find our father. But
What do you think?
this is a bonus.
Do you think he'll ever come back?
You know, I don't know. After he left, for a long time, that's all I thought about was my father coming back because I actually, I got to spend time with him and had a relationship with him. But at the same time, I'm kind of mad at him.
How much of your life was he around for?
I don't know, Jerome, how long?
I believe we talked about that
I know,
in
and I
your
don't
background.
remember.
That's
I have to bring up my background.
gonna say.
A long time.
Here we go. Game notes.
That puts you significantly further ahead than the rest of us as far as your.
Yeah, well, time flies different where she comes from.
Well, I'm 600 years old.
I'm somewhere
On
around
my-
there.
On my
So,
world.
so you're, so Shone, likely only would have known of him. He was gone before she turned 2.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. I was thinking it was longer. So I have vague memories of him. And I have the stories.
wow. Sounds like maybe I knew him better than any of the rest of you.
How long was he with you?
In some, not that long, but he, I grew up here in Strongford. Clearly, he had a base here. So he popped in and out periodically, but like I knew who he was. At least I thought I did. Um, every now and then he'd bring like a birthday card or something, a stuffed animal, but
That is such a foreign concept for me.
I don't think he and my mother were close at all. At least not after the beginning. Clearly, they must have had something or thought they had something, but it didn't really last.
You know what really kind of crimps my brain when I think about it? It's Exion. I mean, how? I don't want to ask them how they have, how they procreate, but when you think about it, it kind of hurts my head.
I don't know. Maybe he has some kind of a shape changing power that we don't know.
I mean, they just shared a bucket together.
Well, if Derek's laughing, then it can't be that offensive.
It was more romantic. It was a heart-shaped bathtub.
Oh,
Be ashamed to waste this this quasi private hot tub.
yeah.
And the triplets. I mean, we have other siblings that are real jerks.
I think it's more product of their environment at this point.
I mean, Freddy can be a jerk at times, but he's a jerk with a big heart.
He's just trying to do what he thinks is right. I can't blame him for that.
Yeah.
And he's trying to keep the rest of us alive. So I definitely can't blame him for that.
We would definitely starve without him.
I mean, I save a lot of money on groceries.
Oh, hey, here's a letter. This sounds kind of interesting. His name is Stefan.
European?
Zurich. Stefan from Zurich.
Zurich? Switzerland. Wait,
you just
Switzerland?
getting around there, Lightbringer?
I thought my identity, I mean, my relation to Jürgen was only common knowledge in New Prussia. That's getting out. That's
Well,
In any
Treatment
letters that
more-
you've received are in relation to Lightbringer, not you specifically.
right.
okay. Well, yeah, but
He says he's got brown hair, blue eyes, 6'4". He didn't put a weight. But there is a telephone number, so we'll put that over here.
I mean, long distance is expensive.
It's what the ship's for. Or teleportation.
Fair enough.
So while the two of you are chit-chatting, a phone call starts coming in, and of course, Mainframe's letting you know that you have a telephone call.
Speaker?
Okay, so you hear a pickup, and then it reverts at like, you would be physically clicking a button to click on for speakerphone.
Legacy here.
Oh, I apologize. I wasn't aware that I was calling. Is this a party line? What is the legacy?
She's just going to look at Carmen because she's like, she has no idea what the hell she's doing. Usually Hyperion does this.
I'm sorry, sir. Who are you calling for?
I apologize. My name is Victor Solis. I am looking for somebody that goes by the name of the Angler.
Oh, yeah, you got the right place.
He's indisposed at the moment. Can we take a message?
Well, of course, but I was simply returning a request to call him. Seems he had some sort of item that he wanted me to examine. I apologize for not getting back sooner. I have been off-world.
What's your name again?
My name is Victor Solis.
Give me 1 second. So she's going to.
Did you say off-world?
Correct. Yes.
So she's going to contact him through their link.
Okay.
I think I wrote down this person's name.
Shown to Angler.
I did not. Victor was someone working with Sharon, right?
Who's Sharon? Oh, the museum lady, right?
Sharon.
Or he's a part of Aegis. Aegis.
Actually,
Victor Solis.
he is not. But if you don't have it written down,
You don't remember.
you're gonna have to fumble around with it.
Shown to Angler. Come in, Angler.
This is Angler.
Hey, some guy named Victor is on the phone for you. Says he's returning your call. He hasn't been able to get back to you because he was like off world. Do you want see if mainframe can patch him through to you?
Have they come around my department yet?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Patch them through my phone now.
They're actually like going through. Israeli Shield is not here. She's kind of being taken up by Shield right now, conversing. But the agents and the technicians and whatnot are the ones that your guys are seeing, and they're going through and just literally going over everything with a fine-tooth comb. So if you're going to take this call, you're probably going to want to step out from where the workspace that you're at, and probably step into an office somewhere.
Okay, hold on, I'll have mainframe switch him over.
No, get a number, tell him I'll call him back at lunch. So, a couple hours from now.
Okay. Over and out. Mr. Victor guy?
Mr. Solace would be fine.
Mr. Solace, I just talked to Angler and he would like us to get your number and he will call you back in a couple of hours.
I apologize. My time is rather precious. If he could perhaps expedite that, it would be appreciated.
Okay, give me a second.
But he gives you the number.
Okay. Well, give me just 1 second. Shown to Angler.
Yes.
He says time is of an essence for him.
It's always of an essence. Did he give you a telephone number?
He did, but he said I don't think 2 hours is going to work for him. He said something about his time being precious.
Yeah, all of our times is precious, but
My precious.
That's all right. What's the number?
Okay, so give it to him.
Okay.
555-55-5555.
Yep.
5309.
555-867-5309.
Transylvania 65000.
It's actually Jenny's number.
Yep.
I misspelled his name on my paper.
Okay, well, talk to you later. Okay, Mr. Solis, he will call you as soon as he can.
Of course. Well, thank you for taking my message. And then
You're
just
welcome.
disconnects.
That's weird.
Mainframe, do you have an entry on Victor Solis?
Parsing. Affirmative.
Who is he?
Victor Solace is an eldritch sorcerer.
Oh.
He is known to frequent several different teams on a part-time basis. He is one of the world's foremost individuals on arcane matters.
Must have to do with that pearl.
Does he have a code name?
I believe his code name is Victor Solace.
Interesting.
I wonder how the audit's going.
Oddity.
He'll let him know that he needs to step out. He needs to take his break.
Okay, sure. No one's going to detain you for it.
Huh?
No one's going to detain you for it.
And then he'll find a private office that isn't his, and he'll call Victor back.
Okay.
Hello, this is Angler. Victor?
Yes, Mr. Angler. I appreciate the return call. I don't have a lot of time in between tasks that I'm working on right now. And is it Angler or Dangler?
Angler, like the fish.
Yes, very well. You had some sort of arcane issue you wish to run past me?
Yeah, I found an item a few years ago, and I was wondering if you knew anything about a pearl that might have been found under the sea or been placed under the sea at some point.
That is a rather broad spectrum, given the fact that that is where pearls lie.
This would be one with the that can give you the ability to put people to sleep in a wide area.
Ah, okay. That is a little bit more specific. Give me one moment to scan through my tomes. Let me see if I find something that could perhaps pinpoint the identity of this item.
I was speaking with another. I think she's a mage. She had a code name of Blood Goblin. She said that it seems like it's a part of a set.
That is good to know. And I am familiar with the individual by the name of Blood Goblin, yes. She was, or I believe, a super villain.
Yes. She has. We think her villainous actions were more complicated than just good and evil.
I see. Well, and you can hear him as you're talking. You can hear him like flipping through actual books and like going. You know, you can hear paper going back and forth. And he says, "Oh yes, I found a reference to this. I believe it is called the Dreamscape Pearl." It will take me some time to research the rest, and I do see some references in a story that I'm reading, which is incomplete. But it does seem to be that there are 2 other items within this set. I don't know exactly as of this point. I'm, of course, parsing paperwork. It's not exactly as easy as uploading this into a computer.
Do you know if the museum director out at DC, Miss Sharon Wilson, might have more information on this? Now that we know the name of it?
If she happens to be a scholar of antiquities, perhaps she might.
I hope so. She's the museum director out there.
Well, not every museum director has a full understanding of the arcane natures that power the world that we live in.
Good. I apologize. It's my lack of understanding of the pearl nearly got me killed 3 times, I think is the count.
Then you clearly have a problem with the tuning.
That's what Blood Goblin was saying, is that if I only have one part of the set, that might cause a problem, and it would explain why it's suddenly starting to take energy out of me instead of whatever nebulous source it uses.
That would be accurate, yes. In most cases, you would need to only attune to the one item. But if it is a part of a set, then yes, that would be a continuing problem. You're lucky to be alive.
I don't know if it's because of my genealogy or the experiments the government did on me, but I'm a bit resilient. Nothing like being able to withstand undersea pressures to build up your endurance.
Oh, yes. Now I believe I remember who you are. You are related to the 2 individuals from the Justice Legion.
Yes.
I see. I do apologize. The expose that they had on TV recently painted you in a unflattering light.
That's the reason there was a delay in me calling you back.
-5 popularity.
-5 popularity. And this is under Angler.
Yes, that would be under Angler.
For everybody or just for?
No, just for him. Yeah, it was related. It was related to him and his siblings. He says, "I do apologize. I was quite serious when I said that I have very limited time. Should you need any additional assistance, you may wish to speak to Imaex. You can. He's typically flaunting about Montreal." He's another skilled individual of dimensional magic energies.
Is this Pearl interdimensional, I guess?
It could be. I haven't had the opportunity to fully research this. I am actually due in another dimension here shortly.
Well, any additional information I would greatly appreciate, and I don't want to take up all of your time.
Of course, of course.
If you're about to dimension hop, I imagine that it's going to be quite costly on your body.
It's more of a timing window. The time does not work exactly the same. And long story short, it's off by a couple hours. So I will need to go here very shortly. But you may be able to speak with him if you have any additional questions about this while I'm away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And you said that was IMAX, right?
IMAX, yes.
Do you know if he belongs to any organization like Aegis or any other team?
I haven't had many dealings with him, but I believe he's completely a solo act.
Thank you so much. If you ever get a chance to do more research about this, give me a call at that number, and we will be more than glad to work on this. We like the ability to neutralize instead of having to harm people.
Of course, I completely understand, and I would advise to not continually use that item. The lack of attuning will catch up to you.
It already has. I have a very scarred left arm now.
Well, you're lucky you do not have a very scarred soul.
Well, other things may have done that, but I appreciate the thoughts.
Of course, of course.
Well, I hope you have a safe trip crossing dimensions, and I will reach out to IMAX. May I say that you referred me?
Of course.
Thank you so much, and safe journeys.
And to you as well. Good day. And he hangs up.
Haha, I notated it, and I spelled out IMAX's name phonically. So I literally have I-May-X.
Which is pretty close phonetically to how it's spelled.
And then he'll go back and he'll thank everyone for their patience while he excused himself and answer any questions and continue on. Oh.
So, now that is done, so Derek, they have already come through your section, done their thing, their inspection. Everything seems to be going through just fine, as of this point. Nothing seems to be you don't see any stray gazes from anybody. Everybody's doing this pretty straightforward, taking some notes. They've spent obviously more time in the section that has to do with superpowers, the testing, lab results, so on and so forth, than anywhere else, which Hyperion has kind of taken over most of that.
Right.
But otherwise, after about 4 hours, you guys are finally done.
Okay. Then if we're clear to go and everything's worked out all right, then I wanted to, when I get back to the vein, I wanted to check status of the Belor Vaxion shield fleet that's in low orbit, basically, and see what I could find out.
You mean the Tavaxian fleet? Shield fleet?
Oh, I thought it was Belor.
Nope.
It's Telor?
Tavaxian.
Tavaxian?
Yes.
I had Belor Vaxian, whatever. So
I've got no idea where that came from.
All right. You said Tavaxian. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Tavaxian. Okay. Yeah. So those people, or those creatures, aliens.
Sure.
They're red-skinned, and you can't trust a bald one.
That is correct. How do you plan on checking on that?
How did we know they were there?
Well, you were told because
Mm-hmm.
Jurgen had advised you that they were there, but you guys first picked up on it when you were playing around with frequencies. You
okay.
actually hailed them.
Oh, and are they like you can't trust a bald one? But I mean, were the Salant at peace with them? Were they? Did they collaborate with
Oh,
them? Were they
based on
appeased?
your last recollection, the Tavaxians are actually a warlike race. They have even prior to you leaving your home world,
Mm-hmm.
they have basically they have taken several casus belli, which is the right of conquering essentially, all over the
Mm-hmm.
galaxy, specifically against the Yubari, which is another alien race.
What about the Dexa? Well, um, are they against, or are they fighting against Tyrex the Tyrant, the one that killed off the Salant
No, no one is sure.
and destroyed my world?
Yeah, no one is sure.
Okay.
As of your, and again, your information's over a year old at this point, but last you knew, the Tavaxian people were waging their own war against the galaxy and conquering, all
Oh.
kinds of space.
And they were basically just kind of hanging out outside our world.
Yes.
Well, all right. Have I heard any? Because I remember I had put out some, just some intergalactic transmissions in Salanth to see if, or Salanthes, however you want to say it, whatever. Have I received any responses?
No. Nada.
Because there was allegedly
Mainframe would have told you that
survivors.
if anything came back.
Right. Okay. Because there was allegedly survivors, but
Correct.
we don't know, to what extent.
What
What was the population? Was it like in the millions?
There is a way. There is a way for you to find out, but I don't know if Lightbringer told you. So we'll have to deal with that in character, I guess. So at this point, Angler, are you going back when you're done too, or are you staying at the Quantum Unlimited offices?
He's gonna head back.
Okay. So at this point, when you two come back, there is fan mail spread out all over the main table. It's clearly being kind of read at times, as well as being parsed and stuck together in other piles. You're not too sure like what the piles mean. Just there's other piles of letters here and there. And you guys see that Ixion goes to mainframe the computer and starts kind of going over what little intergalactic information is available in the system. And of course, as he explained, also checking to see if there was any sort of relay bounce for from his people.
Yep.
Don't everybody talk at once.
I'm letting him do his thing.
That's fine.
Does mainframe have multiple terminals?
No, it's just one big terminal.
So, I mean, I'm just saying this is peculiar. I have not received any type of correspondence from my intergalactic transmissions. It's unfortunate because I have not been able to confirm whether or not the extent of survivors.
And this is for your homeworld, right?
Yes. My former homeworld.
Not always be your homeworld.
It does not exist anymore.
Do you think about it?
Quite often.
Then it exists. Philosophically speaking, it exists. There's
I see your point.
I read an article a couple years ago. A guy said India does not exist. And the reason India does not exist is because he has never observed it himself. So long as he doesn't observe it, it cannot exist, regardless of how many other people have seen it. So from that mindset, you could say that, yes, it still exists because it exists within you.
Or like Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger's cat works too, but that's more of that's less philosophical.
So at this point, Sean's going to come back in with a huge banana split, and she's going to say, "We're sharing a cat."
No, never mind. That's
Schrodinger's cat is an experiment made by this Dr. Schrodinger who put a vial of poison and a cat in a box. And what he theorized is, so long as he did not open the box to discover if the cat had drank the poison, the cat was both in a state of being alive and being dead, because it is unobserved to be either.
That's morbid.
Yeah, there were less rules about testing back then.
And Sagan comes walking up, and she says, "Ma'am, should I secure your letters someplace?"
Don't mess up my files.
Yeah, we've got them kind of organized.
Especially this pile here. This has got like numbers.
You don't think any of these actually originally had photos, do you?
I don't believe so. No, ma'am.
Just
I
checking.
can't believe that nobody would send photos. You would think that they would send photos of themselves if they're
Right?
wanting to catch a date with you.
I mean, if they were really serious about that, they would definitely include a picture.
Yeah. Yeah, Zurich's probably an 8-year-old.
A very, very tall 8-year-old.
Hey, things can happen.
And she says, "I mean, I can secure this neatly someplace. That's not a problem."
Yeah, we can. You know what? I can help. It's my mess. I can help.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not gonna lie. Space is kind of out of my wheelhouse, so I don't know how to even begin to assist here.
Well,
Of
ma'am,
course
you actually did kind of assist.
Would,
Remember,
because of the.
we have a translator now for that.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I just meant like as far as ascertaining whether Ixion's planet is still intact or not.
Well, I believe we still have the guests secured.
Well,
guessed?
Yeah, the Tuvaxian that New Prussia captured coming across the border. Did you not hear about that?
I have not.
So yeah, while I was in New Prussia after Argentina, when I was taking some time to visit my grandfather, um,
You noticeably see the hue of my, because I normally when I'm at the vein, unless I'm going out and about, then I'm in my natural state. You see my hue darkens when you say Tavaxian a little bit.
yeah,
Or
so
look,
they had captured this individual, and he only spoke Russian. It was, I mean, as far as Earth languages, so clearly there's some questions there, but um, we were able to figure out through halted communication that he was here on Earth looking for Electrum, actually, on behalf of his people. There was some kind of a war going on, and he was looking for help.
Wonder if we have a sibling there too.
At this point, I would not be surprised.
We probably have a sibling in probably every sentient race at this point.
I watched that movie American Gigolo, and all I could think about is our dad.
I used to think that there must be some sort of grand scheme to all of this, something about genetic experimentation or something. I don't know that there's anything that deep anymore.
I still do not see how he procreated with my mother.
Yeah,
I think you probably don't want to see that.
we were. Yeah, no.
I'm actually highly intrigued. Procreation is not something that I am hindered by the human bashfulness.
Okay.
It is simply an act of procreating. And I do not see how his and my mother's physiology was able to combine unless it
See?
was some sort of experiment.
Yeah, I don't know.
My mother's race, they incorporate with one another. We are a sea-based life form, and when it is time, we essentially become one larger individual being, which is both of us with a separate consciousness.
The
Then
bucket
we
thing.
separate, and a short time later, of the effectiveness of what a mammal would be considered gestation, another Salanth is born.
But you're half human.
Half whatever race Electrum is.
Yeah,
I mean, do we even know what race he is?
not so certain it's human.
I mean, is that something genetically we haven't been able to figure out?
Jerome, did we confirm that like the deviant gene is still human?
Yeah, it's based off of humanity.
Did we confirm whether
Pardon me.
Electrum was deviant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. That's all in mainframed records.
Okay.
Assuming the information was inputted accurately.
Well, who would have put the information in?
Electrum.
Do you think he'd fabricate that?
Yes.
I mean,
Really?
he probably.
Have I ever? Do I? I mean, I have my genetic sample on my ship, correct?
Yeah.
And I've looked at it before, and it's essentially SPB and Salanth, correct?
Correct.
My genetics are, in fact, a deviant, or SPB, and Salanth. So yes, he was human. But perhaps one of his multiple abilities made his genetics more compatible with others.
Well, he was with the Hyperion's mother.
But he did not procreate Hyperion.
No, but she dealt with genetics, so maybe she helped him out in that. How long has, I mean, out all of us, who's the oldest?
Do we want to put together a timeline of ourselves?
Yeah.
Are we interested in sorting Electrum's Black Book timeline?
Actually, yeah.
Y'all might be, I'm not.
Well, I want to get a hold of those letters because I'm kind of wondering if we won't find other things in that.
I am the equivalent of 44 Earth years.
I'm a lot younger than that.
While this conversation is going on, he's actually sitting down at the terminal and he's seeing if Electrum had anything on the Dreamscape Pearl.
No, actually, he did not. There's nothing in mainframe that denotes that whatsoever.
How old are you, Sean, in Earth manifestation years?
About 1920-ish.
Now,
Early 20s.
I believe, and I do not remember off the top of my head, but I believe I may be the eldest sibling, if not some of the precursor or maybe prior models of Hyperion in his consciousness.
I wonder how old
I am not
Hyperion
sure,
is.
but
Well, we know the year that he was first
conscious.
activated, right?
Mainframe.
Mainframe here.
How old is Hyperion?
Hyperion's first timestamp for sentience was 1971.
So I am actually significantly older than any of us and any of you.
So he got to your mom first,
Interesting
and
way to
then
phrase it.
mine then?
Mainframe, how frequently was Electrum known to traverse outside of Earth?
Parsing. And then he continues on saying that there are, pardon me, several dozen instances, be it accidental or otherwise, where he was off-world. Be it within somewhere in the known galaxy, or stamped, where he perhaps ventured off to another dimension.
Mainframe, do you know exactly how many offspring Electrum has?
Negative.
So he didn't like keep count.
Negative. That information was not found within mainframe. That information was discovered by Ms. McCall.
Is there any information in there about me or my mother?
Only mentions of your dimension. No mentions of you specifically.
And what year did he go to my dimension?
Having to go back into your notes.
Approximately 20 years ago.
Let me take a look. He indicates that it looks like he crossed over at some point in perhaps 1945.
In 1940.
Correct, 1945. He does make a note. There is a note in mainframe that indicates that the time does not work in parallel within that particular dimension as it does with on the primary Earth plane.
Are there any records of his visitation to Salanth?
Affirmative.
Please inform.
So he pulls up the one note, and it is a very basic note that is it reads kind of like you would expect some article from National Geographic.
Wow.
It just
something along the lines like natives are.
It's just a complete bare bones overview, like the size of the planet, where it's located, the type of people, what what they look like, perhaps they're in relativity to humanity, and so on and so forth.
They are giant amoebas, bluish and green in color. So nothing that is unfamiliar to.
Nope. Yeah,
to me
nothing
right.
useful for you because you already clearly know that.
Yeah.
In fact, right. you'd have a better breakdown on your ship.
Right.
It's kind of interesting and odd at the same time.
And once he's done searching, he's going to see if he can't find if Electrum actually kept a magical item database.
No, actually, he did not. The only notes. You might want to mute your mic if you can. The only notes that it really comes up with is that was one area that Electrum did not have expertise in. Was magic. So really, it comes down to farm that out to so and so. There's a couple references to Victor Solace in that, but nothing like definitive, other than he just gets named a couple times.
All right. I'm just like, while this is going on, I don't want to interrupt their conversation all the way.
Nope, that is fine. At this point, the letters have been, tucked away at this point, and Sagan's like, should we be contacting New Prussia, ma'am, or are we doing something else?
Oh yeah, so I was going to suggest we could contact them and see if we could get an interview or otherwise request information, but I I don't know how prudent that is with the investigation going on. I don't know what the expectation is with how we are perceived to be in contact with New Prussia. So I don't want to suggest anything if we need to be prudent for the time being.
Would not be prudent.
I think waiting a couple days would be fine to
How did it go at the office?
they were very thorough.
Did you see the angry lady?
Hyperion kept her busy.
Well, hopefully they are satisfied and let's close that chapter.
Yes. I doubt it's going to be the last that we hear about it, but it'll be fine. I don't foresee long-term consequences that's going to exceed beyond where we are now. But
Yeah.
I think we probably are going to end up having to hire extra people and a PR firm to help us out. I think you originally suggested that, right?
Sorry, say that again.
I think you originally suggested that, correct?
Yeah, I think it might be a good idea, especially if any of the rest of us are going to get fan mail, or if, I mean, honestly, we're not doing so great in the PR department. Maybe some of these things can be spun better.
I don't think I have to worry about it. I don't think anybody knows I exist.
I mean, they've seen you.
No, that doesn't mean they know me.
But you're a part of the team.
Well, I don't have an action figure
You're not.
or lunchbox.
I mean PR on behalf of Legacy, not on behalf of myself specifically.
Oh, that reminds me. I've got to figure out what story's running about me now.
Why?
Victor Salas let me know that there's a story running about me.
Apropos of what?
Probably relating to the what just happened today.
Oh, with the audit?
Yeah.
I mean, why would I don't understand.
I wouldn't put it past someone to leak the information that I was in Argentina right as. And yes, you can roll your eyes. I know you're going to do it. A war criminal who did not get tried and convicted for his crimes.
The only people that would know would be Aegis.
And
you're one of your twins, and the other people we had to fight.
And anyone who saw the footage with us standing in Argentina.
Yeah, but we were there for the Argentina people.
But it doesn't look that way. However, I am very much an out and in the open type of hero. So, if they run an article and they need someone to blame, they are going to blame an easy target. My brother and my sister are doing so well with the Justice Legion And then there's one of them who's not with the Justice Legion.
Yeah, they're just not really all that they think they are. Sorry to burst
Oh no,
their bubble.
I agree with you 100%. But all I'm stating is that the way that people are going to see it, their optics is going to say, Angler is this very open person. He matches the profile of Freddie Fingers, who is a known hero, who is a former combatant for the U.S. Navy. I don't know what's being said, but it was enough to get Victor Solance to pause for a moment, even if that pause wasn't bad.
Mainframe, do you have any info on this?
Affirmative.
Can you share it with the group?
Negative. It would have to be recorded and then replayed.
Can you do that?
Mainframe
get a
lacks mainframe lacks the temporal displacement ability to go back in time to record video that has already been displayed.
You can't get a copy of it.
Negative. That would require going physically to the location and obtaining the original tapes.
Well,
I've got to get you a body.
he's
Keep in mind,
also
we don't
saying
have
that
the technology.
this would also require either committing a crime or a heavy toll on our resources. Or we could read the paper tomorrow morning, because there'll probably be something there.
Oh, so this is like, yeah, but you said that he's.
No,
how did-
Victor Soul said this was a couple nights ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Oh,
well,
a
how
couple
did
nights ago?
Yeah,
how would
it's
he
not
know?
recent.
Is Mainframe? Is there any written news about Angler recently?
Affirmative.
Can you share that?
There are several references to syntax error in print in regards to an expose on his twin siblings.
Do you want to read it alone, or do you just want?
Most of them are in regards to reviews. Many of them have garnered 4.5 reviews.
Mainframe, who's the writer of that article?
Query. There are several writers of the articles. Many of them are reporting on the show itself.
How many articles are there?
Parsing. I detect 3 currently online, and there are references to others in print.
Can you share the ones that are online?
So takes a moment and then displays them up in separate web browsers. One from like the Washington Post, another one from, a New York newspaper, and then another one from, the LA Times. They're just of reviews of a, basically like it was kind of a loose retelling of the other 2 siblings, Deep Sea and Current, joining the Justice Legion. And of course, they mention Angler in there as the failed sibling.
I really don't like those two.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm not surprised.
I really would like to insert the tip of my boot somewhere.
The reason why I haven't been focused on them is because it's a waste of energy.
Why would you like to place your boot somewhere?
I like to kick them in the butt.
Interesting.
Essentially, they are saying that I am failed because I didn't join the Justice Legion with them.
Thank goodness.
That's not necessarily a good or bad thing. That's the problem, is whether or not the Justice Legion is good, bad, neutral, whatever, doesn't matter. I don't even care that I'm being put down in this manner, because why do I care about those two? It was an inconvenience for them to sit down and have lunch with us one day. One lunch.
Actually, they should feel very honored that they were with a half goddess.
So I am not worried about them. But normally whenever something like this happens, there's more to it than just, oh, these guys have joined the super group, and oh, they also have a third triplet.
So,
It all depends on the angle that they took.
so
And
Sagan at this point, after helping clear up the letters and whatnot, she says, okay, so as much as I want to hang out and jaw about your relations with Electrum and your problems with other siblings, ma'am, is there anything else you need me for? Otherwise, I was going to go back for a little bit of downtime at the apartment. Maybe make sure nobody is following Michelle.
Go ahead. I think I don't know that we're doing anything important right now.
Okay. Very well. Just call me if you do something important.
Okay. Mainframe, can you find out the PR manager of the Justice Legion?
Affirmative.
And then can you find out if that person has a significant rival in their work?
I see where you're going with this.
That requires speculation and parsing of information. Mainframe will endeavor to do so, but it will require some time.
Maybe cross-reference the PR individual's articles with particularly critical authors.
Of course. I will have an estimate. Shortly. Please allow for at least a day.
Of course. And perhaps we can offer that person some work.
after this, he's going to go over and he's going to call Aegis, because Victor didn't give him a telephone number.
No, he did give you a telephone number.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Jenny's phone number.
Yep. He just specifically told you he's probably not going to be there much longer.
IMAX?
No, Victor Solis. That's who you just asked about.
Oh no, I apologize. That's my bad.
He did give you the contact.
IMAX is who I was talking about.
Okay.
He did give you that contact info.
He did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna call IMAX.
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 Like Emmaus, but with an X.
Yep. When he enters on the scene, it's kind of echoing around until it gets really loud. And that's his entrance. Nothing vocalized.
They're just like
just an awesome thrumming, sound check basically.
His presence is 2 stories tall.
Okay. And so you end up calling, you get a voicemail. And you hear this. Wait for the beep. You gotta leave your name, gotta leave your number. Wait for the beep. Beep, beep.
Hello, I'm X. And this is Justin not being able to pronounce words, not Angler. Victor Solis gave me your number to give you a contact. I'm looking into a specific item. It's a part of a set, and he said that you would be a good person to contact. If you can, please give me a call back at my number here and just ask for Angler. And he'll hang up.
Okay.
And then he's going to call Shannon Williams in DC.
Okay.
I forgot what museum it was. I just remember a museum director.
Incomplete notes are going to kill you guys. I'm just letting you know. So she is
Museums, the Washington Museum of Science in DC.
there you go. She is actually not available at this time, so you'll have to leave a message for her as well.
He leaves a message just saying, "I'd like you to give me a call back. I'm looking into research of an ancient item
Okay.
that you might have some information on." He keeps it vague enough where it's not going to
Right.
spark other people's interest.
Sure. No problem. Yeah, the switchboard there at the museum just patched you directly into her office, which of course has an answering machine itself.
There we go. Old chair, I'm readjusting the padding on it so I can sit more comfortably.
Then no problem.
And then, since this seems like it's the end of the day, he heads home.
Okay, sure. So head
call
home.
me on the
Head
call me
home
on the
as
com.
head home as in like your apartment, or are you staying at the Vane still? Because you were already there.
He's gonna go back to the apartment.
Okay,
He does have to keep up appearances a little bit.
sure, that'll work.
Ixion,
Yes.
I was kind of wondering, with your ship, you mentioned that there isn't much of weapons.
Correct.
Would you be against fixing that problem?
I do not have the knowledge to better equip it with
I do.
advanced weaponry. But I would
I
not be adverse to it,
so I can
considering the applications that we find ourselves in.
write up some plans for you and Hyperion to kind of look at.
Yes, I can understand most, but it would probably be more along his capacity to
I have to really kind of
direct
think
it.
about how they would perform in space.
In space, most things will travel at a higher velocity because there is no wind or gravitational resistance.
You know, sometime soon, I'd like for you to take me up there so I can do some experiments as far as weaponry.
Once you have it available, then by all means.
Yeah, because I want to.
You will need to have some sort of sustaining
What do you mean?
device for a self-contained breathing apparatus. You breathe. I do not.
Oh, you mean like the American astronauts?
Of any sort, yes.
I'm sure.
Something to supply
I'm
you
sure
with.
it's something Hyperion and I can come up with. Maybe we can
I'm
just
sure you
alter our suits.
It just makes
Yeah.
it very convenient for myself. I can spacewalk. The only thing that I need to worry about is theoretically is if I were to find myself on the dark side of the moon, for instance. It would be substantially cold enough that I may freeze, and I would not be able to move until
So how do
coming
you
back
keep
around.
how do you keep yourself? Because I mean, how far away is your planet from where we are?
At the high velocity of rate of speed that my ship has the capacity to travel at, it takes me approximately 1 year of Earth time.
Okay. So how do you keep from freezing then? Because you don't have.
The systems within the ship are climate controlled.
Oh, I see what
However,
you mean. You mean if you're
if I were to
outside of the ship?
spacewalk,
Gotcha.
yes.
Okay. Okay. I understand now. Um. Yeah. So she's going to
And I
go
am dense
off.
enough where my body does not become affected as much as the human body would.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna start thinking about this. That's what she's gonna do. She's gonna walk off, kind of talking to herself as she's formulating some plans in her head.
Sure. Okay. Lightbringer.
Pew pew.
Yes.
Are you doing anything?
No.
Okay. So then, are you heading back to your apartment, or are you staying here at the Vane?
Yeah, I'll go home.
Okay. Alrighty. So then you head home for the evening. So as we're coming up into the next day, is anybody planning on doing anything? You got any plans? Anything you're going to experiment with?
Specifically, I'm going to spend some time striving to manipulate my body again.
Okay, well, we can make a roll for that. Go ahead.
Okay. What is it? What is it? /
Exclamation point, roll, and then capital 2 letters of the group.
Huh?
Exclamation point
It's
roll, and then like for remarkable RM in caps.
that doesn't work. Exclamation point, roll, and then RM.
No, not exclamation point roll. Or I don't think so. No. I don't have Discord pulled up. Sorry.
Hold
You guys
on.
will have to take a look at it.
It
I thought it was
is.
/
No
R.
space.
1D. Oh.
It's all. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's all one. Oh, you're in supers instead of super rolls. I did that too.
Yeah, no.
You got about as much as I did.
Okay.
So since it's a new day, can I try my power stunt again?
Sure.
Okay.
So you're back at the Vane. Well, you're already
Yes, she
still
lives
there.
there. Yeah.
Do I get one for the day prior after they left and that?
Well, we've already advanced on to the next day. That's what I'm saying. You went
that's-
in first thing. So.
Oh.
Nope. Got a green.
All right.
I am never going to get this.
Okay, so with the testing then out of the way, does anybody have anything they're going to do to advance any particular story? Nudge, nudge, hint, hint.
It's hard to figure out how to do research without the internet as we know it.
Libraries. And microfilm.
Yeah, Brittany doesn't know how to do microfilm. But
Is it bad that I do?
No. My high school had microfilm.
I mean, I know theoretically I've seen people do it, but I have never touched one myself. So Carmen would be interested in compiling information about Donovan McLaren, his history, his like
Dating life.
specifically with Senya.
Okay.
I know that
you're basically going to go to a library then and try and look them up.
I mean, that doesn't seem super useful, but I guess that's all they had, huh?
I mean, the internet's been around for a couple of years at this point too.
But so they probably wouldn't have digitized any like back issues
Right.
of stuff.
It wouldn't be a Wikipedia.
Everything right now would be still fairly current.
So yeah, I guess a library could be good.
Okay, sure. Why don't you give me a reason check then? As you were doing some research.
So I got a yellow.
Yellow. Okay, so you luck out. As you poke around, you find some magazines that he was actually featured in. There's also some newspaper clippings that were copied down to microfiche. And you get the basically you can find where the issues and the pictures that you can pull up. Basically, his story in a recap of everything that you've got is he's come from a wealthy family that was it was a part. His family actually dates back to Great Britain, and they were one of the they're one of the families that helped found the island nation. So there's like a pretty long lineage that is tied to Senya.
When was Senya colonized or whatever?
Senya came about in the 1500s. Thanks to the Spanish, around the same time that the Spanish found the Philippines.
It's found in quotations there.
Correct.
Okay, so his family were some of the original settlers?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they obviously go way back, obviously, with the Spanish that helped discover the island. There are some notes, since you're looking into Senia as well, there are some notes that indicated that, it had a very sparse population. It didn't really encounter any sort of growth until the late 1600s, when precious metals were actually found on the interior of the island. Otherwise, it had been used infrequently for farming by the Spanish authorities. And it had a small port also used to help guard against piracy in the Philippines.
Okay.
Eventually, around that time frame in the late 1600s is when the British came in. British investors came in. Obviously, the McLarens, one of them, came in to start dealing with the metal that they had there. The metal eventually became, the notes became so precious and valuable that Spain had delineated a separate governing body for the small island, effectively separating Senia from the Philippines. And actually, it removed them from the Spanish East Indies into the Spanish Senia colony. And so there's obviously some notes there about the McLarens being, investors, primarily regarding the metal, but also invested some in the in like the ports and building up of the early infrastructure of what would become some of the main cities in Senia. Once the Spanish-American War had concluded, Spain seceded Senia and the Philippines to the United States, but however, shortly thereafter, the Philippine-American War began, which saw Senia side with the United States government against the Philippine Republic. Due to this, tensions between Senia and the Philippines were raised, and after the war, many Filipinos from the mainland began referring to the population of Senia as Senians to delineate the nationality and refute any shared heritage.
Wait, so does the U.S. have an attachment to Senia right now?
Very briefly. Not right now, no.
Okay. Are they, they're independent?
They are, yes.
Okay. Does McLaren still have family there?
Yes.
And what is the status of that family?
It doesn't say. It doesn't say, but
known?
no, it's not something that's publicly known. You do find several articles about like the lead up to the Olympics, which that actually took place in. There's a pretty. This one's actually pretty beefy because Senia dropped back into the public eye. Because the Senian government was attempting to enter the 1988 Olympics at that point. Due to international pressure, the Senians were actually isolated and informally not allowed to participate due to the racial parity between deviant Senians and non-deviant Senians, which this ended up causing a big what to do.
What year of Olympics was this?
88.
Okay. Is it known whether Donovan is deviant or not?
No, doesn't say anything about that.
Okay.
He was actually their star athlete at that time frame. It was one that they were resting their hopes on, thinking that he had a shot for the gold in gymnastics.
Right.
Which of course they were denied. This caused a big kind of scandal. And this actually made Time magazine because the price of Dravixium ended up spiking. Hold on one second. I think my pizza's here.
Oh,
Look what you started.
I'm a trendsetter. What can I say?
I had pizza before
I had
camera.
it. Yeah, I had it last night.
Today.
I haven't had pizza in a while.
Hmm.
I'm usually not a super pizza person.
My wife's that way.
Yeah.
She has, it's not a full-on allergy, but she has an intolerance to gluten. So pizza is
Is she celiac?
I don't know. So pizza, sandwiches, pasta, those are all treats, not something that's regular.
You
Yeah.
should have her
We
tested.
make sure not to have bready food more than once a week.
Yeah, it's better that way.
Davy Jones likes pineapple on his pizza.
Okay.
Yes.
I like pineapple on pizza.
I love pineapple
It's-
on pizza.
Yep, that's what
I
I have
have
here.
to be in
bacon
the
and
mood for it.
pineapple.
I'm not a total anti Hawaiian pizza, but
That and I like
think you're
taco
taking
pizza.
ham.
So,
I understand why it works.
So, anyways, back in character. Sorry to interrupt. I need to go do something. So, They ended up getting excluded from the 1988 Olympics. That caused the international uprise and, of course, the spike in Dravixium, which actually directly affected larger nations such as the United States, Russia, Great Britain, China, and Japan. So because it affected the international community as such, conveniently, the Olympic Committee backed off of their previous position and included them in the 1992 Olympics at that point. But by that point, well, actually, as of the beginning of '94, which is current year, with the revolt and later annexation of Kaliningrad into what would become known as New Prussia, the Senian government took a hardline stance against deviants with the revelation to the world with the revelation from President Jurgen, or I should say President Albrecht, that Dravixium was being mined by deviant slaves. Despite the fact that their dirty secret is now out in the open, the world collectively has done little, obviously, to bring pressure to the small island nation. Shortly before that point, it was noted that Donovan McLaren ended up leaving, and he started a sizable subsidiary of McLaren Industries away from the Senian government and set it up here in the United States.
So what year did he come to the U.S. again?
He actually came in '92. He skipped the Olympics and didn't participate.
Okay.
And which from having spoken to him, he's very pro-deviant.
Right.
Which this, of course, causes problems in the news because he was considered, for a time being, kind of like a national hero or potential national hero to the small country.
Do we have a population?
Oh, yeah. Good question. Seni at this point, let's see. By the 1970s, Senia had actually swelled up to 3 million as the island nation. It's estimated at this point it's probably somewhere around 6. Probably, likely more. They don't have accurate census records for obvious reasons.
Well, I guess it depends on whether they count their slaves in their population.
Again, good that you pointed that out. They do not.
So they've got a higher populace.
Does the UN have an official stance on Senia's business practices?
The United Nations has obviously come out, and any time that it gets mentioned, they get admonished, but they've actually made no moves to stop them.
So no sanctions?
Yeah, no sanctions.
Okay.
Is there a major export or import for Senia?
Yep, Dravixium.
That's just the Travixium.
Yep.
Import?
It's an export.
And the import is workers to mine it.
Well, import is obviously various goods, such as foodstuff items. There's obviously a little bit of industrial, like vehicles or computer parts or whatnot that come in. But by and large, most of the trade is centered around Dravixium.
And what was Truvixium used for? I forget.
It's made for the
It's pronounced with a D. It's Druvixium.
Druvixium.
the dampener collars and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Cups.
It's effectively this world's adamantium.
Oh, so it has other uses besides.
Yeah, if you really wanted to screw somebody over, you'd make an inhibitor cuff out of Druvixium.
So, funny story. Sorry, small side note. I have an uncle that lives in a very snowy area on a hill, and he's a shop teacher. And he used to have a problem with punk kids like destroying his mailbox. And then one day he decided to make a mailbox out of ship steel. And then it started biting back. And it was really funny. So anyway, I just
make it harder than what they're hitting it with.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Okay. So McLaren himself, like, are there, like, my question is, Shield suggested that we talk to him about getting people in or out. I was just curious, like, what he might know, or like what is known about that comment or that circumstance. But I'm guessing the newspapers and magazines probably don't have any information on the technicalities of him coming to the state.
No.
And obviously they wouldn't report on refugees coming out of Senya.
They could be. They aren't.
So we'd have to just literally ask him. But also he doesn't know us as Legacy, and this mission to find Dr. Rostenkowski is, well, we'd have to decide whether we're interested in talking to him about that as our alter egos or not. So I think I'll leave that decision to our fearless leader. But I'll at least make notes of all of this stuff and bring it back to the vein so that we can make informed decisions.
Okay.
Angler will show up to the Vang in the morning. He will continue to attempt to develop his power stunt. So let me get that roll on. Roll. I think that counts.
Wow, 100.
Oh my gosh.
Congrats.
Good job, Justin.
Now I just need one more.
You've been rolling reds for your greens.
Yeah. But watch it. Whenever I try to develop the next stunt, it's not going to work. And then he doesn't do any heavy training. He searches for a library inside the vein.
Okay.
Even though Electrum probably digitized a lot, that doesn't mean he probably didn't collect books at in any manner. So he's trying to see if he has any books on magic in general.
No, he has no books on magic.
Oh wow. In that case, he keeps the standard physical training. He's not once he successfully does his plasma manipulation, he stops for the day with that.
Okay.
That way, he can pay attention for the phone call when it comes if
Okay.
they come in today.
Sure. Go ahead and roleplay real quick. I'll be right back. One sec.
Brittany, you're gonna make
So, what other business do we have?
Actually, I think I'm going to check up on the kids that were in Argentina, the ones that we think were exposed to the same stuff we were. Check
you
on
didn't
their.
You didn't get exposed to it, did you?
We all did.
No,
just
not all
what-
of us.
No,
Well,
only me.
Well, I was
only-
there. My actions,
But
I guess, is what caused it.
Yeah, but you didn't get affected by it. It was me and Lightbringer.
yeah, I think all of us there were exposed to it, but maybe not all of us reacted to it.
I
mean,
think I didn't
obviously,
react. Yeah, I think
Freddie
it
was
was
not present, but
right. But I think she's gonna see if she can follow up on that.
Did he actually take the time to go and?
Yes, he did. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that looks good. So, Davey, if you're wondering what we're talking about, Jerome went and took pictures of the pizza because Brittany wanted to see it.
And yes, it has pineapple.
pineapple, pepperoni and pineapple. I don't know that I've actually had pepperoni and pineapple together, but
It's not bad. I used to work at Papa John's, and we would try crazy stuff for the purpose of trying crazy stuff. It's the reason I have no like real moral objections against pineapple on pizza, because it does add a contrast to the tangy tomato.
yeah.
Hopefully, you guys have been playing. This wasn't all dead air.
No, not all.
So, Miranda wants to check on the kids that were exposed to that ray in Argentina. The senator and his kids, or the senator's kids and her classmates.
Okay. How you plan on doing that?
Well, she'll start with mainframe first. Mainframe. While we were in Argentina, we had that incident where we were exposed to some kind of ray, which altered Lightbringer's and Exion's genetics and altered their power structure. We were also suspicious that it probably altered the kids in the school. Have we had any reports of any of them showing powers?
Negative. There's nothing in the news media.
Do we have the contact information for the senator?
Or the ambassador?
Ambassador,
It's the
yeah.
ambassador.
Yeah.
Affirmative. There is a public number listed for it.
Okay, can I have it, please?
He displays a number on the screen.
So she's going to call him and just do a wellness check on his daughter.
Okay. You're going to get the same thing you're going to get of a lot of public figures. They're not available at the time, so they will take they'll take your name and number and follow up with you.
Okay, so she'll leave a message. A vague one, of course, just saying it's shown from Legacy, and if you could give me a call back at his convenience, she needs to discuss something with him.
That might also be a good opportunity to ask him about the Senya connection.
Mm-hmm.
Do both at the same time.
Okay.
Okay, well, she's going to head over to Exion's ship because she wants to look at what weapon he has on it so she can kind of study it and figure out some way to make it bigger and better.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your reason. You're going to add 1 column shift for your weapons. However, it's an alien system that you're completely unfamiliar with, so you're going to minus 6 columns.
Ooh.
So I'm going to add 1 and minus 6.
Correct.
So that takes me because I have amazing.
Your reason is what?
My reason is amazing.
Okay.
So it's going to put me back to what?
If you have amazing.
Typical.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 would be poor.
Poor. So PR.
Mm-hmm.
And then add 1 to typical. Right?
So, okay. So before you roll, what is your reason?
It's an amazing. So
Okay.
it goes up 1.
So it goes up 1. So then it's going to be a TY6 after
TY.
everything is taken into effect.
Come on, be nice to me. 3 feet.
Okay.
Go you.
So it's going to take you several hours because, again, you're completely unfamiliar with this technology. But at the end of those several hours, now we'll say at this point when you're eventually done examining it, it's probably 2 in the afternoon. You have a decent enough understanding of how it's powered and what kind of output you can expect from the system.
Okay. So are they going to have to beef up the system to handle a more powerful weapon?
You are only familiar with the weapon system. You are not familiar with the ship.
Okay. So she's going to get a hold of Exion.
And I will be working on my nanotechnology.
Okay.
So she's going to walk over
So go,
to
before
him.
you do that, go ahead and make a
hold
roll,
on.
Derek.
Okay. And what does that go under? Because it's a talent.
It's your reason. And nanotechnology will give you a +1 column shift.
Yep, because it's creating a robot. Let's see. So +1 column shift. My reason's an RM30, so it's going to be an Incredibla.
Yep.
Let's see.
IN40.
Oh, IN Yeller.
Play your cards right.
Yellow.
You live to talk about it.
Okay. So you are, at this point, still trying to get the device down to actual nanotechnology size. You've managed to shave it down by another 20%.
Oh, okay.
So you were definitely getting there.
Is this like microtech now, or?
Yeah, I mean you're getting close to it. You're the design that you're operating off of now is probably close to a large Lego set.
Oh, okay. which is still amazing at this current point in time.
Yes. Oh yeah. 100%. Then of course it's still,
Okay.
you're still trying to find out ways to. The big hang up obviously is the how to power it and to keep it powered. It's not hard to get things like watch batteries and whatnot, but that's not going to keep it running for very long, and that's ultimately the problem you're running into. Getting the devices down or the parts down isn't quite as difficult. It's keeping it powered. So that's really the next hurdle you're going to have to tackle. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joan.
So she's gonna walk over for where Exion is. What are you working on?
My nanotech.
Oh, how is that going?
Well, I just need to refine the power source for it to where I can shrink it down more.
Well, speaking of power source, I managed to figure out your weapon system, and I definitely think that I can replace it with something a lot more powerful. But I don't know anything about your system, so I need to know. We need to figure out how much power you're going to need in order to the ship to handle the weapons.
What does my ship run on? Is it nuclear? Is it?
It's effectively a nuclear style power plant.
Okay.
Energon crystals, obviously.
John Crystals. Right.
It's probably some type of post-nuclear technology if it has FTL.
It appears to run on some sort of electricity.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I'm just saying that out of character.
Unfortunately, Ixion, this level of technology is well past you. It's much
Right.
it's much like having a car and operating it. You know how it operates, but you don't know how to put it together or what does what inside it.
Mm-hmm. I know the basics of it. I know that this is where the power source is.
Yep.
And this is the part that utilizes it. And there's a whole bunch of cables and hoses and stuff there, but I am not exactly sure. I probably have a better understanding of it than the average pilot, but because of my other studies, but yeah.
So, but he does know
I could
what
change
kind of
I
power
could
it
change the
is.
battery. Yeah.
He knows what it's powered on. Yes.
Okay, so that's what she's looking for. Okay, so that should work. I'll have to double check with Hyperion when he's available.
Hyperion may be able to. We may be able to collectively increase its efficiency to where
That's what I'm
the
thinking.
additional power needed for a larger weapon system would be able to be derived from the same power source.
Right. Now I got to figure out where to get the material. But I think I've got something pretty much figured out.
Wonderful.
So is there like anything else you want done to the ship?
Currently, I haven't put much thought into it. The weapon systems is a good idea, considering, as I've said, the positions we find ourselves in.
It only makes it easier to harm other people.
Jerome,
Mm-hmm.
her energy and particle psych, how would that work with
I'm sorry. Your what?
energy and particle?
Energy and particle what?
I think it's psych. Physics.
Okay.
How would that work with? I guess what I'm asking is, it something that she can use towards working on the ship?
Well, the particle physics is absolutely right. Yeah.
Do you have a talent in energy and particle physics?
Uh huh.
Oh, me too.
Oh, good. Then she can collaborate with you.
Does
Put our
come
heads
right out.
together. Yeah, particle physics is my thing.
Let me take a look and see just what the talent itself gives
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
In the
get back to
meantime,
me.
please go ahead and continue role playing.
Okay.
10,001, 10,002, 10,003.
Hmm.
That's essentially what he does all day long. He's waiting for the phone to go off.
It's like, I don't know.
So, how have you been handling everything?
Are you talking to me?
Mhm.
Handling what do you refer?
Well, pretty much everything that we've had to go through, pretty much, I guess, since I arrived. I think this is the first time we haven't been really called off to any emergency in a while.
I do not like the prospects of my origin world being destroyed. It bothers me greatly that I have potentially lost my mother from the actions of essentially a warlord. I do, however, prioritize my actions because that is what is logical to do. And if
Well,
there is a clear and present danger or hazard to someone here, then my sorrows do not take precedence over that.
I know how you feel about losing your mom because I lost mine too. It's why I'm here. 'Cause it wasn't safe for me to stay. But if you ever want to just talk, I'm here.
I would like to find the survivors of my race.
Have you
And
thought about maybe making a trip back to kind of see
it
what
would take
is
me
or
away for too long. As I have said, the priority lies here. And I am not going to abandon you.
well, I don't know so much about space travel and stuff except for Star Trek. But isn't there like wormholes or anything like that you can use?
Wormhole technology has not been refined by my race. There have been some that have been lost to a wormhole. Whether or not they survived, it is unknown. Perhaps they are in another dimension. Perhaps they have been eliminated from existence. It is unknown. Or somewhere possibly in between. Perhaps they have been exalted to godhood. It's unknown to me what happens when you go through a wormhole.
Yeah, I don't know either. Have you
But-
given that ship that's orbiting much thought?
Periodically, they have not acted out, and
Do you,
it seems that New Prussia has one of their kind in custody.
have you ever thought about seeing if you can talk to them?
I attempted at one point. They are not very cordial or talkative.
But if they still have
They're
him captive, I'm wondering if you can interrogate him.
It would be possible, but I don't think that it would be relevant. He is not one of the race. They are not one of the race that destroyed my homeworld, allegedly.
Oh, I thought they were.
They are a warmongering race and a conquering race, but they are not the exact ones that destroyed my home.
So, how are you going to find out if anybody survived?
I have currently a repeating transmission being sent into intergalactic space seeking response from my kind in my native language. And I have not yet received any response.
How long do you think it'll take for the message to get there?
The message would travel much faster than my ship would. To reach the spatial quadrant in which my home is or was, it would probably take approximately 1/4 to 1/8 of the time. I would venture to guess that it would be arriving or would have arrived fairly recently. And I, in theory, would be getting a response any time if there was one to be given.
I sure wish I could somehow teleport you.
That would be wonderful. However, I believe the distance is too great for you.
Yeah, I probably. I mean, I've never attempted to see how far my range is, but
I wouldn't be worried about the distance. I'd be worried about the blind jump into possible empty space.
exactly, without really knowing.
With the constant rate of expansion of the universe, short jumps on Earth isn't anything supernatural or anything like that. But we're dealing with, you've been on Earth how many years? So how many trillions of miles and light years has passed from the origin point of the last time you were on your homeworld till now?
I've been here for some time, but I see your point.
Yeah,
It would not be in the same exact spot if it were to even still exist.
I just wish there was a way for us to help you.
Perhaps we will find one in the future.
We could just go there. You know what the great thing about having a whole bunch of superpowered beings on a planet? There's more of them.
But that would mean that we'd have to leave Earth.
And
Well, I guess I don't really have much of an argument there.
you come from a different dimension. We know that there's an alternate version of me running around Strongford right now.
Yeah, two twins that are jerks.
No, I'm talking about the other me. The one who grew up with.
Oh, that's right. The alternative Earth dimension thing.
Yeah. So the idea of traveling through space or traveling through another dimension, that it shouldn't be that shocking anymore.
No, but it traveling dimensions and traveling through space they're still different.
Our biggest concern about traveling through that much space would be food and water. It wouldn't be and oxygen. It wouldn't be anything else. The Earth will have plenty of heroes to come after us, and it has plenty of heroes now.
So we would have to figure out how to.
But before I will personally leave the planet, I want to finish getting this pearl taken care of. It's supposed to be a part of a set, and because it's a
Oh.
part of a set, I want to finish out the set.
I think you'd have time because I would have to think about. You'd have to think about the energy that it would take to sustain the rest of us because Exion does not need to breathe oxygen. We do. So we'd have to figure out a filtration, a scrubber of some sort. Yeah, so I have got a lot to think about.
There is a lot of possibilities on what we would have to do. But that's assuming we don't already have a way of getting that information from somebody. Aegis might already have an interstellar program going.
Query: Why has no one taken up Lightbringer on her alien encounter?
Probably because I didn't know about it, and she's
It
not
was
here yet.
suggested yesterday.
Oh, so I would come back to the vein with my notes.
Sure.
Thanks, mainframe.
It was left hanging, as you say. It is not my place to seek out New Prussia, especially with the controversy that has recently plagued us.
Just do not have syntax error negotiate for you. He seems to be especially inefficient in dealing with them.
I don't disagree.
We'll just leave that up to Lightbringer.
Am I back?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
You've probably got a binder of some notes that you've made and copy of some articles and whatnot, so you could
Yeah.
pull them up later.
Yeah, I just leave that on the table and go have some pancakes or migas or whatever it's for breakfast today.
Whatever was made.
Lightbringer. From the vein, would you be willing to contact your grandfather?
Yeah. About
interstellar travel.
I mean, yeah, we can ask him about that.
And any information that he may have on the Tavaxians.
Sure. I thought we were going to run that past Hyperion just to make sure that contacting him wasn't going to complicate anything with the UN investigation.
Does the UN have any access to our records here at the vein?
I guess not.
It would be assumed that they might have tapped assets within a telephone line to New Prussia. I would say we wait until Hyperion gets here before we start contacting New Prussia directly. That way we make a decision as a team, not as individuals. On a side note, what's this about an alien encounter that you had? I think I missed it yesterday.
I reported to Hyperion when I got back from New Prussia after our. You know what? Actually, I think you maybe weren't back from your undersea adventure. So maybe you missed that debriefing as well. Essentially, while I was touring the science facilities, we passed by a cell where they were keeping an actual Tabaxian, and I recognized the description from here, and I stopped Jurgen and we discussed the origins of the guest, and through some creative illusions, we were able to communicate with him. Essentially, he had come to Earth looking for Electrum. He came to New Prussia via the Russian border. He spoke broken Russian, so presumably, he made it known that he understood Russian to be the language of Earth. So obviously that's what his exposure to Earth was. Perhaps that's, where he touched down. Maybe the Russians spoke with him and he came through. Maybe he had encountered them before. I don't know. Anyway, in any case, so he was looking for our father on behalf of his people who were having some sort of crisis, and they were looking for assistance. So they assumed that Electrum could be found here and that he would help them.
Was he bald?
Actually, he was, and I made a point of inquiring on that. He was extremely embarrassed and said that there was a disagreement between himself and his other people, and that he basically he made it seem that he was out of favor, but decided to come to find Electrum anyway. So
You cannot trust him.
that's what I said to him.
Bald Tabaxians are of the most dishonest and are very fluent in subterfuge.
Well, the sense that I got was that he had lost his hair as a matter of honor because of this disagreement with his people.
He was probably outcast. Though they are a warmongering race, they do have a measure of honesty. And if they have been shorn, then they are probably outcast because of their dishonesty or their dishonor.
Anyway, that's as much as we got out of him with the difficult communication process that we were working with. Later in my trip, I ended up working on a translation device with some New Prussian scientists, and we worked up a prototype that actually worked with the Tavaxian language. So I imagine they've been able to um, make a lot better inroads with him, but I haven't been able to follow up.
So this translator, is it only works with their language, or is it universal?
I'm going to go and find the prototype that they gave us, or me, that they gave me, and kind of show them how it works. This one, I believe, has the capacity for, I don't remember how many. 4. This one has capacity for 4 languages.
So it could actually be modified to hold more as we come across them.
Yeah, I think we could.
I'm assuming it's a memory issue, not a an ability issue.
Right.
I been kind of working on Exion's ship. I'm looking at.
You understand his technology?
I'm slowly figuring it out. I understand the weaponry and how I can work with it.
Oh.
I need to look at the power particle of it. We were kind of discussing. Exion wants to find out what happened to his people, and I can't blame him. I would be in the same boat.
Yeah.
And it was kind of mentioned that maybe we should just go. But there's things that we would have to alter and stuff on his ship for us oxygen based beings.
No, that's not correct.
Why?
Because you yourself already determined in an out of character conversation with Derek that he was referring to working outside the ship, not inside it.
So he's breathing oxygen inside the ship.
You've already been inside the ship and flown around in it. You know it circulates.
You've been inside the ship, so there is sustained climate control and environmental control within the ship. There is an airlock in which I would be able, without any additional gear, would be able to go out into space without hindering myself because I don't have lungs.
Right.
Is
Okay.
basically what it boils down to.
So I guess I just kind of figured it was because we're on Earth as it is, and that's where the oxygen, kind of like being in a car.
You may want to advance it a little bit because it's not geared towards that, but at the same time, it wouldn't be hard to do that because, yeah, it's just there.
Well, I was kind of thinking that maybe between you and I and Hyperion, we could look at his power source and make sure that it can sustain all of us. I mean, because there's going to be more of us in his ship besides him.
How
So,
Well, two of us would not need to worry about it.
how
right.
fast is your ship?
Well, he said it took a
What
year.
would that answer be, Jerome? I mean,
You could give the appropriate answer in FTL.
yeah.
It would have to be FTL.
No, it is FTL. I'm just saying, like, the appropriate equation from there on out.
So it's a year's travel of
It's
one
roughly
Earth year.
1 year with the engines that it has, or that it
But-
had, which were damaged. New Prussia fixed them, or fixed the ship collectively between them and Area 51. And it may be slightly advanced as of now, slightly. I do not know. We haven't pushed it to any limits.
I don't know about you, but I don't think I'm built for that kind of time frame.
What kind of time frame?
I mean, if it took us a year to get somewhere, I think I'd just go nuts.
I could
Alone?
easily put you in a self-induced coma. It is perfectly safe.
Not to mention, we're just starting to build lives for ourselves here. I think that would be difficult to leave.
So,
You have a boyfriend you haven't told me about?
No. Just saying.
I mentioned the things that I mentioned on purpose. I'm just saying that if we were wanting to, we could go and investigate if his world was still there or not for ourselves. The biggest concerns that we have with his ship is with food, oxygen, and water over a sustained period of time. That's not to include getting rid of our own personal waste products.
the waste is very easily taken care of. There is a restroom on board the ship in which, through a sub airlock, waste is released into the universe.
I don't think I want to think about frozen poo
Sounds like a metaphor.
floating through space.
Waste released into the universe.
That's a giant piece of poopy. I love you, meteor.
I wonder.
You ate French fries off that thing.
I wonder what Electrum's method of travel was. Do you think he just flew?
He had?
Was he not?
How fast he
Did
could.
he not have an environmental immunity?
Oh, mainframe.
Mainframe chimes.
How did glorious father travel from world to world?
The parental unit known as Electrum had a vessel gifted to him by the Galactic Union.
Where is this vessel?
What is the Galactic Union?
Is this something that I've heard of?
The vessel is in unknown location. It is not currently listed.
Did he leave with the vessel?
That is unknown.
Have I heard of the Galactic
Galactic Union? Yep.
Council?
Galactic Union.
I have.
Yes.
It is not in my notes.
Looks like we have another question for Miss McCall.
Yes. The
Galactic Union.
The Galactic Union is basically the UN of the universe.
It's not like the network.
Is Earth part of the Galactic Union?
Mainframe lacks sufficient notes to indicate.
Is your planet part of the Galactic Union?
Yes.
Would they not have information about your planet now?
If anyone from the Galactic Union would have received my transmission, they more than likely would have responded. Either they have not received it yet, or they have not.
Well, how do you get a hold of them?
There are representatives.
So is there like a representative here?
You just call
specific
yourself-
hailing frequencies. I am unknown to any representatives for the Galactic Union here on Earth.
But do we know who the representative is?
I would almost venture to
Ixion,
guess that it would be.
Ixion, you would know specifically that there are no galactic representatives for Earth. Earth is a no-fly zone.
Earth is a no-fly zone within the Galactic Union. They are a separate, segregated entity.
Yes, Death World.
The only reason why I was allowed to be here was my research had absolutely nothing to do with any type of warmongering, conquering, or any such thing. It's purely scientific, biological in nature only, seeking to find out other ways to better the lives elsewhere.
There has
In
got
the-
to be a way to make contact. I wonder if we were to use I keep wanting to say Hyperion. Electra.
Electrum.
Electrum. Thank you. Electra is the dog I know. Sorry.
I can put out a message and send it intergalactically, specifically to the Galactic Union.
Then you should do that. Tell them that you've gotten word that your planet was attacked and destroyed, and you want confirmation since they're part of the Union.
And just as an FYI, it's not like anybody can just call the United Nations and say, "Hey."
Right.
Same thing with the Galactic Union.
Yeah, well, remember she's
You're
from a totally different.
I'm letting
Yeah.
letting this be known for Derek specifically.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that's not a thing. You can't just get on the phone and say,
Right.
"Hey, hello, Galactic Union, I'm here." It's not AAA. So you, in essence, you would have to actually petition them directly, or perhaps find a vessel within the Union's fleet, kind of like finding a police officer.
Who are never around when you need one.
In the vastness of space.
Right. Find a beat cop for the Milky Way.
Out of character, do any of you remember hearing something about aliens, like an alien ship orbiting Earth, like that there was some kind of a presence?
Yeah, we were just
Around.
talking about that
Yep,
before you came in.
that's been brought up. Are you saying that in character?
That
No,
Okay, yeah. Out of
because
character,
I'm trying to find it in my
that's the
notes.
Tavaxians.
yeah. Out of character,
No,
you guys have
the
talked
Tavax-
about that just a little while ago too.
Yeah.
That's the Tavaxians.
Sorry, I must have been reading a different part of my notes. Okay. Never mind.
It's okay.
Okay, so put a pin in that until we have a chance to talk with Hyperion about it. Obviously, if we're going to be away from Earth for any significant period of time, we're not leaving without Hyperion.
Well, no.
Well, even then, that's not something we have to do. It's something that we can do.
I would be curious to know whether Jurgen has been involved with extraterrestrial travel.
Was it with this Devaxian or whatever it is? Is that how he got the information about Exion's home planet?
I don't know.
I remember him telling him. I don't remember how he knew.
Yeah, I don't know how he knew.
Did you ever ask him, Exion, how he found out?
How did he just said he learned of it through a reliable source, wasn't it, Jerome?
Do you guys
He
have
didn't
it down in your
divulge
notes?
exactly. He didn't divulge that.
Oh, he did. I remember the scene. He did. I'm just curious if anybody's
Maybe
got it
that's how
written
we
down.
found out. Maybe that's how we found out about the ship being
No,
opening.
you guys are confusing some circumstances. You guys found out about the ship before that.
Okay.
No, because I don't, unless he didn't did he learn it from the Tavaxian?
I don't know.
I don't have that in my notes.
Because I was making notes of that. I didn't.
Honestly, at the time, I was a little bit distracted by
There's a lot going
Yeah, I
on.
did.
about my family. So other details of
Oh,
the dinner were a little bit hazy.
And I suppose that when we make contact with him in a couple of days, we add that to our list of questions.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember that him saying who he heard that from, because I would have written that down. But
Mainframe.
regardless,
Mainframe.
Mainframe chimes?
Are there records of Reich Shield traveling outside of
Off-world.
Earth?
Intergalactic.
There are no such records in my database, in Mainframe's database.
Just thought I'd check.
If it occurred, it was not something that Electrum was aware of.
Any inroads on that PR person?
Affirmative.
Did you tell?
I'm getting it pulled back up.
Oh.
The known rival to Rick Astor, who is the agent in charge of all public relations for the Justice Legion, is an individual by the name of Justice Reiner.
Justice what?
Reiner.
Reiner like Heiner?
With an R, exactly.
Sounds like Judge Reinhardt's brother.
Where is Justice Reiner based?
Gives an address located in Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles. Can you pull up some of his work?
Affirmative. Pulls up a brief profile of her.
Her.
Yep, on the firm's website. Basically, her big thing is she's repped a lot of big corporations in the past. She's had a few high-powered Hollywood types, but for the most part, she does a lot of corporate types. The reason why she's a big rival is because that's something that Rick Astor had done prior to this.
Does she have a noted stance on superpowered individuals?
Negative. Mainframe was unable to ascertain.
Is she well regarded in the PR community?
Affirmative, based on what articles I could find online.
Okay. It's a place to start. Thank you, Mainframe.
So he chimes off. And at that point, that is where we're going to stop for the evening because it's about 3 hours in. So thank you everybody for tuning in to watch. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Our next game will be Cyberpunk coming up next week on Wednesday, starting at 7 p.m. That's going to be the 31st. And then on the 1st, we'll be having Street Fighter at 7 p.m. as well. And then, of course, everything else will be taking place at Fan Fusion. Hope to see those of you there. If you do, stop by, say hi. So obviously, we're not going to have Vampire Ashland by Night Blood Ties on Saturday because of that. So we're going to be busy. So until then, make mine Marvel. And I hope you guys have a great night. Good night.
So